Hey everybody, this is a two-part recording. In this one, we're going to look at a concept called superpower. And in the next recording, we're going to look at a question from a client, which is basically saying, why the hell would I put myself through this? So let's look at the concept to begin with. It's something that we've been working on in a small group over this year. And the idea behind it is that the areas in our life where we suffer most, where there's pretty much a daily, if not hourly, in our faceness about it, and yet these are areas where there's a sense that there should be freedom. You know, they might be areas that we're drawn to, that we're fascinated by, where that we're good at, you know, that we might even teach about. And yet there is something blocking our own personal expression, our personal freedom in this area. And that's what I'm calling a superpower. So for a superpower, so we can all think about this, there's three criteria. Have a think what these might be for you. So the first criteria is ongoing suffering. There is something in this area, and the areas can be infinite. So it might be health or money or family or friends or work, career, expression, writing, finding a partner, being with a partner, being married. It might be about freedom or expression or really anything, or yeah, our creativity. It could be anything. The first criteria is that there is suffering in this area, that our own engagement with it on a personal level brings about a sense of being triggered, of buttons being pressed, of a sort of a shift into reactivity or withdrawal or conflict, that we feel limited, we feel constricted, we feel inauthentic. That's a really big one, inauthenticity in this area. We feel like we have to pretend, to control, manipulate. There is suffering. There is suffering in this area. And, or hide. Yeah, we have to hide what's going on for us. That's the big one. That's the first criteria. The second criterion, is that it's an ongoing confrontation. So we're not talking really about the things that have just not present in our life. We're really talking about the things that are in our face, that they're not going away. They come in from the outside. They present in our life. There's something in us that is continually engaging in this area. It's part of our existence and it's not going away. That's the second one. Okay. And then the third one is that this actually is really a superpower for us. There is something in us that is drawn to this area by fascination, by passion, by intrigue, by expertise, by skill, by knowledge. You know, it might be, so say it might be, say the suffering we might have might come from not being, treating our body badly, say, not exercising, eating wrong foods, looking in the mirror, hating ourselves, withdrawing from any sort of physical expression. There's deep suffering. It's not going away. Every mealtime, every time we wake up, every time we see ourselves, and there's things coming in. People are saying, "Why don't you do this with me? Why don't you do this?" Our kids might be saying, why aren't you engaging with us, in these sports and these things that we like to do? It's not going away. And yet, for some unique way for us, the area of health, the area of physical expression, the area of vibrant aliveness is our superpower. And this is deeply personal stuff now, so these are just examples, but it might be that in the past we were an athlete, or our education is in physical fitness, or we read all the time about, or we watch YouTube videos about physical excellence, or we work in this area. There's something in, and this is the criteria for it to really be a superpower, that there is a passion, an expertise, a talent, a skill, a fascination, a knowledge, an inclination in this area. And so it's not just that there's suffering, it's not just that it's in our face suffering, it's also that there is this contrast, real contrast between everything, like our whole leaning into something, and yet there's a block, there's an incapacity to be fully expressed, fully free, fully at ease. Our full potential is limited and blocked in this area. So that's what I'm calling a superpower. And oh my God, it's so fascinating. It's so revealing and opening for us all working in this area, because it becomes really obvious what are the superpowers in our life, the latent superpowers. And there will be other areas of our life that are just easy, that are just, they're our interest, we're fascinated by it, we do the stuff, no problem. What I'm interested in is the areas of our life where that latent spring of inclination and fascination is blocked. And what we've been doing in the course is each of these areas is being summed up for each person by one single word. And that word represents both the ongoing suffering and the liberation and the truth of us. We're following that word through a process of mountain, no mountain, mountain, that old Zen expression, which is really saying, first of all, there's a mountain, it looks objectively real, everything about it is unquestioned, and we're considering that lived experience of limitation, of being blocked, of not being authentic, of not living in alignment, of habits and patterns being mismatched to any sort of freedom, potential, peace, bliss, joy. So that mountain represents the limitation. No mountain is the process that we go through, which is really a process of staying in the discomfort, staying open, staying curious, until there is that shift through from projected reality, which is what we live in when we're not healed, when when the lived experience of what we are, of what the world is, of what other people are, is a projection out from learned lack, learned separation. And so we're staying in the, that's really what the program is to stay in the discomfort, to feel what is there to be felt, heal what is there to be healed, allow that shift from projection through to actual reality, to in that moment to voice what's going on for us, to be truthful, to be honest. And really what we're in that moment, in that precise moment of that shift, whatever is being experienced now, which is really a projection from the whole of our past, is actually healing, cleaning up that every related experience to that current limitation. So we live and experience with curiosity everything that is there to be healed, to be reconciled, to be assimilated, and then we come out the other side as mountain. So mountain, no mountain, mountain. There's still a mountain. So there's still this thing. Reality still exists in the sense, you know, so going back to the example of health, there's still food, there's still exercise, there's still stuff on TV. And yet now it's completely different, because now what we are is a vehicle of the expression of love and wholeness and joy and authenticity, and everything that has been fascinating for us in this area of health, or whatever it is for us, is now opened up. And truly now this becomes a superpower. In the way I was reading yesterday about how a butterfly, so a caterpillar in a cocoon turning into a butterfly, if you, at the moment that the butterfly is about to release from the cocoon, if you cut the cocoon and let the butterfly escape, it dies, because the butterfly needs the struggle to strengthen, to send fluids, send nutrients around its system. It needs the struggle. The struggle is necessary for it to fly, for it to take off. And in a way, it's the same thing here, that the struggle we go through is because there is something within us that has been profoundly affected by our learned experience, our sense of what we are, our conditioning. And the struggle allows that to be recognized. So we're not ignoring it, we're not numbing it, we're not distracting from it. It's necessary for the wholeness of expression, for the truth of what we are, for the authenticity of what we are. It's necessary to be acknowledged and recognized and healed within, which is why non-dual conversations that are used to escape the struggle, to switch off, to avoid what is there in our faces, are really just another form of drug. Really, we're in this for the struggle, because it's through that the full wholeness of being is available. And then what we see is that struggle actually becomes the superpower itself, because in our own struggle, we see so much, we learn so much, we move into a whole profound level of understanding of ourselves and others. And it's through that that really our voice is found, our our expression is found, our freedom, the full release of our talent. It's in that. And so it's so powerful. I've just been blown away by what we're looking at, and it's not easy. It's not easy. It's we have to be ready for this. And yeah, so in the next recording, I'll look at really why it's not easy and what do we do about that. Okay, thank you. Bye.